If you want professional looking wiring results for projects in your garage, you need the right tool for the job. Today on Smackey's Garage, we're going to go ahead and look at what's in my electrical toolkit for all these custom projects that I do here. I'm also going to link all the tools that I use in the description below. If you want to build something like this, you can. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So all the projects I do in the garage, I pretty much rely on one simple set of tools. And these are going to be the core items that I use. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what's in my electrical drawer, but it's not as organized as some other YouTubers that you may see. So let's go ahead and start taking a look at the tools that I use. And I need to do a small project, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. We're going to start with the soldering iron. Now, if you're going to invest your money somewhere when you start out collecting this, start with a good soldering iron. Having an underpowered soldering iron with the wrong tips to try to do some electrical work is a pain. You're not going to get great results with it. So for myself, I picked up this Weller soldering iron, a high quality one. I believe the base is 85 watts. And then I have this tip on here which says 23 volts, 70 watts. So maybe I'm only getting 70 watts out of this, but overall, this is a really nice soldering iron. And to do any of the projects that I have in the garage, no matter how thick the wire, within reason, I haven't had any issue with it. I've been very happy with the performance of that. And I usually combine that with some regular paste flux that I'm using. I usually dip the wires in this. And then some of this solder here. So the solder that I like to use is tin and lead. And we're going to be using that at the end. And then when you're soldering, it creates a lot of fumes that you do not want to breathe in. And to fix that issue, I have this right here. It is a small fan. You turn it on, it creates a small negative pressure in front of it, and it'll suck out all the fumes. Of course, I have it backwards right now so you can see it. So it actually works like this. So you'll see it set up later. So what happens is I will go ahead, I will solder in front of it. I'll actually use this little arm to hold the wire. This is a nice arm, it's magnetic. And then it'll suck the fumes from here on through here and away from me. Now, to actually find an issue, you need some sort of electrical measurement tool. And I have two that I pretty much live by. One, I have this Fluke here. This Fluke 107 works extremely well, and I've been very happy with it over the years. And the performance of it is just great. I mean, simple, you plug in your leads, you go ahead and measure the voltage, and it'll tell you if you have voltage or not and what level it's at. Now, this is something that I picked up more recently, and this here is a mini oscilloscope. Now, I've used this on projects such as installing the boost auto mirrors on my truck. I had an issue where I couldn't trace a blinker signal, and this actually allowed me to look at the signal and watch the signal as it went. So I didn't have to deal with this trying to capture the signal. I just had this here where I could actually watch the signal as it was being created and find exactly where it is. So this is probably one of my best pickups recently, and the pricing on it actually is not too bad. So very useful for some of these projects. And those tools really help you figure out where the issue is. Now, the next thing we're gonna look at is crimping tools and wire stripping tools. Incredibly important because you wanna make sure that you get good crimps when you're working on a project, because you don't want wiring for your ignition falling off at some point when you're driving down the road. So for myself, I will say I typically go with Klein tools when I can. So I have a Klein tool stripper, I have a Klein tool simple crimper, and I have this Titan crimper right here. I do like the ratcheting crimper, it works really well. I do really like this handheld crimper that you could use for insulated and non-insulated. I would say this is probably one of the simpler tools that I have, but works extremely well. And then these here are the Klein wire strippers that I use. I also use them as cutters. Work extremely well. Now the next on my list, let's say you figure out that where the problem is and you know that you're getting power to a light, but that light isn't working. Now to figure out why that light isn't working. So what I typically like to do is I actually have a small power supply right here. This small power supply works extremely well. You know, it's for the price, it is very effective. It's accurate enough for anything that we're going to be doing in the garage where I don't really need to worry about it. So for this, being able to give something power and ensure that it's working or it's not working, it's important. Now we're going to go ahead and use this to look at my dirt bike light, because I recently replaced the rear fender on my dirt bike, and the OEM Honda light is right here, which is actually LEDs. And then it came with this new light here that I'm going to look at to see if I'm going to replace it or not. But I don't know if this was working. We're going to test it out. Now, For this power supply, extremely simple. You can see here that I'm giving it 12 volts. I have a black lead and I have a red lead. I'm going to go ahead and touch this to it and to see if I can get any sort of light out of it. And you can see there is nothing coming from it, which is really unfortunate because this is I think this is an OEM Honda light, but you can see it's taken quite a beating over the years. Now I did end up checking this both ways and neither way works, so this is definitely shot and no longer functional. Now I'm going to look at replacing it with this one. This one is aftermarket. We're going to go ahead and check. So there's actually 3 wires on this one, so I assume one is black is ground, red is maybe power, and then yellow is brake, or it's the other way around. Let's go ahead and check. So red works. Really bright, that is probably the brake. Yellow lights up. So that is going to be the one that I'm going to use. Since I know that I'm getting power to this and I know that I don't have a brake on my dirt bike, it does, but it's non-functional and the wires are broken. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to wire this up to the right connector. Here's the rear brake switch wiring. Someone obviously did have one on there at some time, but it is broken. People say they do not last. And with that wiring broken, I'm just going to end up cutting that one off for now. All right, so I went ahead and I cut this connector off. This is one off the OEM light, and you can see it's fine. It should be working as normal. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solder this to here.
Now you can see here the importance of understanding the circuit. The black is actually positive 12 volts while the green is negative. So just if you looked at this, you would assume that black is negative, which it is not.
Now, that right there is a good example of what could happen if you don't actually understand the circuit first. You would automatically make the assumption that black is ground, when really the green is being grounded through the ECU. So because I understood the circuit, I understood the way that it worked, really wasn't an issue because I was able to wire it up correctly. Now, if I wired it up backwards, wouldn't have caused any damage, just the light would not have worked. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tin both of these separately, and I'm going to solder them together, and then we're going to heat shrink over them with a small heat gun. So let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, now because we did that test and we checked, we know that these are actually backwards. So this black one needs to go to this green, and then this yellow needs to go to this black. So this is the ground. The green is actually the ground, where the black is actually where it's getting 12 volts from. So controlled by the computer, switched ground, coming from a 12 volt relay. And what I will typically do to put these together is I'm going to take it, I'm going to dip it in some of this right here so it has the flux. Then I'll go ahead and give it some heat. So I'm going to go ahead, get a little bit of solder on this as it comes up to temperature. I'll put a little on here, a little on here. I'll do the same to this side as well. A little dip. Solder on there. I'm going to go ahead and drop my heat shrink over these because I like to use heat shrink on them just to keep the connections nice and clean after. And then we said black is going to green and then yellow is going to black. So I can do this left-handed. It's one, let it dry a little bit or let it cool off a little bit. I'll do the other one, same thing. Let them cool. And I'll go ahead and give them a little tug just to make sure they are secure. And I'll pull this over it. Then I will take my heat gun and I'll go ahead and shrink both of these down. Now let's go ahead and put it on the bike, test it out.
And we have light. All right, ready to get back together. Now for the rest of my electronic drawer, it's a mess. I mean, in here I have a lot of good products. These are, I think I got them from Wire Care. I have these shrink tubing kits. I have some wiring harness connectors, a bunch of different butt connectors, splice connectors, some grommets, pin removers for doing the Deutsch connectors, another heat gun, and a lot of other miscellaneous electrical equipment. And it's really definitely nice to have, but not as organized. I will say, working on cars, these are probably some of the best things that I've built. It is just a
an alligator clip that is like 25 feet in length for wiring if you want to check something from the front of a car to the back of a car.
Now, all these tools are really accessible. The prices on them aren't that bad. If you want to pick them up, I'll have them linked in the description below. Thanks for tuning in this week to Smackey's Garage. On to another project. I'll see you next time.